Let's talk about something. Have you ever felt like you're just playing a role in your own life? Well, today we're going to pull back the curtain on this hidden struggle that so many high achievers face. We're going to explore why so often the good kids grow up to feel the most lost. Yeah, this question, it really gets to the heart of it, doesn't it? I mean, you've checked all the boxes, right? You've done everything you were supposed to do. So, why is there this feeling of emptiness? Why does all that success feel so hollow? And that feeling, it's so disorienting, isn't it? It's isolating. It's almost like you're lost in this incredibly dense forest. You know you're struggling, but you just don't have a map to find your way out. You don't even have the words for it. Well, that's what this explainer is all about. Think of it as your compass, your map. Okay, so let's look at the first landmark on this map. And for a lot of us, this is going to feel really familiar. It's that role we learned to play as kids. It's a mask, and maybe one you've worn for so long you've kind of forgotten it's even there. So, this good child mask, it's actually a pretty powerful survival tool. But, and this is a big but, it comes at a really steep price. Because when you wear it, you get disconnected from your actual feelings, from your own needs, from what you really want. You just get so good at playing the part that you can totally lose sight of who you are underneath it all. And this is the real paradox of the high achiever, right? On the outside, everyone sees success. They see this quiet, reliable, good person. But behind that mask, what's really going on is a silent struggle for emotional survival. It's this huge, profound disconnect between the person you show the world and the person you actually are on the inside. Okay, so this whole feeling, this idea of being a stranger in your own skin, it's not just a nice metaphor. It's a real physiological thing that's happening, and it really boils down to the difference between just surviving and actually living. So what does that mean, to be in emotional survival mode? Well, imagine your nervous system is like a smoke detector that is just constantly blaring. It's always on, always scanning for danger. And because it's so busy doing that, it literally can't register the good stuff, like joy or connection or even just rest. You're just living in this constant state of high alert. And wow, is it exhausting. But here's the thing, that's not how it's supposed to be. We all have what's called a neural baseline. You can think of it like your emotional home base. It's that state of safety and regulation where you're supposed to return, where you feel grounded and at ease. And really, the whole goal of healing is just about finding your way back to that home base, back to that place of inner peace. All right, so how do you even begin that journey home? Well, it starts with something that sounds simple, but is actually incredibly profound. It's about giving a name to all those unspoken feelings, those invisible wounds we've been carrying. Because the moment you can name an experience, you start to take back your power over it. And one of those names, one of those experiences, is something called parentification. This is for anyone who feels like they grew up way too fast, forced to take on adult roles and responsibilities when they were just a kid. It leaves this lasting imprint, right? It creates this unburied child inside of you, that part of you that was unprotected, that had to be the grown-up and still just yearns for the care it never got. And realizing this, I mean, as the quote says, it's a powerful and sometimes devastating realization. It can absolutely change how you move through the world. It can be painful, for sure, but it is also so liberating. Because once you finally understand the story you've been living inside of, you can finally start to write a new one. So as you start naming these feelings, your whole inner landscape begins to shift. It's a process we can call recalibration. You're literally redrawing that internal map we talked about, the map of who you are and where you're going. So what does identity recalibration actually feel like? Well, it can feel pretty destabilizing. Imagine you've been living in a hall of mirrors your whole life, just reflecting back what everyone else expects of you. And then suddenly, all the mirrors are gone. You're just standing there. It's terrifying, yeah. But it's also this incredible opportunity to see yourself for the very first time, not as who you were supposed to be, but as who you really truly are. And look, this path of recalibration, it is not a race. It's a journey. And it has these sort of steps or stages. First, you just recognize the patterns. Then you name the experience, like we talked about. Next, you learn to witness that unburied child inside you with some compassion. And finally, the goal is to integrate all these different pieces into a more whole, more authentic you. And that's the key right there. The goal is integration, not erasure. This isn't about trying to forget or delete your past. No way. It's about changing your relationship to it. It's about taking all the pieces of your story, even the broken ones, and seeing how they fit together to make you who you are today. It's a testament to your resilience. All right, so we've followed this map, we've talked about integration. So where does this journey ultimately lead? What's the final destination? Well, that map, it leads you out of that dense, confusing forest we started in. It shows you the path back to a clearing, a place of inner peace where you can finally put down the heavy burdens you've been carrying, take a deep breath, and just be. It really is the feeling of coming home to yourself. So we've laid out the map. We've shown you the landmarks. The journey, of course, is yours to take. But now that you can read the map, the only question left is, where will you go first?